Tonight on CTV News at 6. He was a long way from home.
We'd also like to thank our partners, our policing partners in the Toronto area who did share the message we posted last week.
Police arrest a Sault Ste. Marie man in Toronto. Where does the investigation stand?
We know that the suspect and the victim are known to each other.
Police in Timmins probe the shooting that left one person dead. And cash infusion from the province.
Our world-class simulators will allow us to, again, partner with the private sector for their use and just building the aviation industry in Ontario.
Canadore College in North Bay gets almost $2 million.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Glad you're with us on this Friday. A man wanted for the murder of a 30-year-old in Sault Ste. Marie has been arrested. Last week, Sault Police believe Scott Devlin was last seen in Toronto, and yesterday he was located by officers in that city. 52-year-old Devlin has been charged with second-degree murder and indignity to a dead body. The murder investigation began June 19th in an apartment in the 700 block of Pine Street, where Devlin was also a resident. Last night, Sault Police detectives were in the area of Toronto's Union Station, where they observed someone matching the 52-year-old's description, later confirming the man to be Scott Devlin and taking him into custody. Police officials would not say if there was a tip that led officers to Union Station, only saying that they traveled to Toronto the same day the accused was arrested.
Obviously great police work. As you mentioned, the last known location that we had was that Scott Devlin was in the Toronto area. We'd also like to thank our partners, our policing partners in the Toronto area who did share the message we posted last week to their followers and some of their platforms to kind of expand the reach of the information that Scott Devlin was wanted.
And Scott Devlin is being held in custody pending a bail hearing. We now know a little bit more about the murder investigation underway in Timmins. The latest from CTV's Lydia Chubak.
Timmins police say 2 men were shot in this apartment complex shortly after 8 p.m. on Wednesday. They say one of them was pronounced dead at the scene. Officers now have a murder to solve.
In this investigation, we know that the suspect and the victim are known to each other. This would be the second homicide of 2025. The first homicide was the homicide of Paula Millette, where Dale Head has been arrested and is currently before the courts.
The second male victim in the shooting was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. His condition is unknown. As for a possible motive for the shootings, the staff sergeant says investigators are looking into whether or not it's connected to the drug subculture.
The public can assist us by providing any video or information they have if they were a witness or if they've seen something in that area at that time, or if they have any information they believe is relevant to this investigation, they can contact the Timmins Police Service or Crime Stoppers at 1-888-222-TIPS.
Fortin says the investigation is still in its early stages and the team is following up on all leads, trying to determine what exactly happened so it can bring the person responsible to justice. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Police in Sudbury have dug a little deeper into the numbers and will be bringing a new budget ask to the city's Finance Committee next week. CTV's Angela Gemmell reports.
Wednesday night, Sarah and I are going to appear before council.
It was a quick meeting, but long enough for the Greater Sudbury Police Services Board to decide how it wants to reduce its budget further.
We want to be good stewards of taxpayers' money, while at the same time making sure we have effective and adequate policing in Sudbury.
The board had already approved its 2026-2027 budget and was preparing to present those figures to the city's Finance Committee next week. But after learning the city's proposed tax hike sat around 5.7%, the chair asked the board to look at options.
There is a concern, and a very valid concern. I'm a taxpayer, we're all taxpayers, and is there any way that we can reduce the amounts so that the levy is being able to be reduced as well?
The board was presented with 2 options to reduce its budget, either draw from its reserve fund or reduce a $1.65 million contribution toward a new police building. They chose the latter.
We knew that we were not building a building in the coming year of 2026 or even 2027. We are not stepping away from the need of a new facility. It is still, something that we absolutely need. Instead of us debt financing it, we might be turning to our city partners and the city and looking for them to assist us.
The last-minute change shaves the request down to a 10.2% increase, down from the 12.6% they first proposed. Lougheed says this won't impact frontline policing.
There's a heightened expectation, especially with the homeless program and plan, with regard to a lot of people's downtown's concerns about homelessness, etc. So we want to see more presence of police officers, and therefore to have more police officers, we need more resources for them, not bricks and mortar.
Lougheed and Chief Cunningham will present the newly revised police budget to the Finance Committee next Wednesday. City Council is set to deliberate the 2026-2027 budget in early December. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
So, how are your driving skills? It's slick in parts of the northeast. A collision partially closed Highway 11 in Smooth Rock Falls today. Provincial police saying the weather was partially to blame. And while the highway was cleared and the road reopened, police have since closed Highway 11 again. This time, the closure extends from Cochrane to Kapuskasing because of adverse weather conditions. And tell us more about the snowfall warning in through Timmins and Cochrane. Let's bring in CTV's Rick Wyman. How bad are people going to get hit, Rick?
Well, the worst is over in that area right now, Tony, because again, today it was the brunt of the storm. As you can see right now, filtering out of northeastern Ontario, because there was anywhere from actually 15 to 20 centimeters of snow. And again, that will end by about midnight this evening. So let's take a look at some of the video that we experienced earlier today in the Timmins area. Through the lens of CTV reporter Lydia Chubak, we've got this. Of course, you can see that slushy accumulation, 5 centimeters last night, anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 today throughout the area, wreaking havoc on the highways as well. But that will end later on this evening, and the weather will improve in the area. We'll have some details a little bit later on. Tony?
Thanks for that, Rick. It's almost $2 million. Still to come on CTV News at 6. Canadore College in North Bay is getting a cash infusion from the province. And an emergency shelter in Wawa is now accepting pets.
We will never forget your bravery, your strength, your sacrifice.
The very best and bravest of our nation, these heroic souls stood on guard for freedom.
Join the CTV News team and me as Canada comes together to remember.
Remembrance Day 2025, Tuesday morning at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on CTV.
Canadore College is getting major funding from the province to support its new aviation campus. Nearly $2 million from the Heritage Fund will help the college with equipment costs and renovations at the Jack Garland Airport. This will include simulators and the latest aviation training technologies, as well as renovations to the space to make room for a state-of-the-art simulation lab. The lab will not only benefit students, but other industries looking for this type of training.
We have seen unbelievable and unparalleled growth in the aviation sector through Canadore College, year after year, basically now decade after decade. They have grown this facility to become a world-class training facility.
We've opened up, of course, the flight simulators, which is an area that we've always wanted to enhance here, and our world-class simulators will allow us to, again, partner with the private sector for their use and just building the aviation industry in Ontario.
This is the only facility of its kind in northeastern Ontario. Chadwick Home in Wawa is a 10-bed emergency shelter for women, children, and now pets. It's all thanks to funding through Purina's Purple Leash project. CTV's Lindsay Alick has more.
First, we know the lack of pet-friendly domestic violence shelters across the country is a barrier to leaving abusive situations.
November is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and across Canada, only 13% of women's shelters are able to accommodate pets.
It's over 60% of shelters at least have some form of pet sheltering. If not on site, it is the external partnership. I would say the majority, it's still the external partnership as opposed to having the internal. But this funding that Purina has been able to give us is definitely making a huge difference.
In 2024, Purina, along with WSC, launched the Purple Leash Project, supporting 20 shelters, keeping more than 320 women, children, and over 200 pets safe together.
The abuser is not just targeting you. They are often targeting or threatening to target children, family members, and that includes pets.
Chadwick Home in Wawa was one of the recipients this year.
We were able to have built a fenced-in area directly behind the garage on the shelter site. We retrofitted our storage room and turned it into a space where we put a couple of kennels, crates. In the shelter itself, we were able to really dedicate one room, one bedroom for now.
The 10-bed shelter is meant for people to stay up to 6 weeks. But Ross says due to the lack of affordable housing, many people are staying over a year.
Support local shelters in your areas and advocating for pet-friendly spaces. Those of us that have pets, we know they're part of the family. And when we stand together in the community, we show survivors that their support.
Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
Dignitaries and residents of a new North Bay long-term care home celebrated the grand opening this morning. Northern Heights Community, a 160-bed long-term care home, is replacing the Water's Edge Care community home and is operated by Sienna Senior Living. The new building is designed around 5 resident home areas, which are meant to create a more intimate living space for up to 32 residents with their own dining and activity areas, lounges, and bedrooms.
I could hardly wait to come and see what it would be like. And I really can say I enjoy it as a home, and the staff are excellent. I find that I just feel like I'm a part of a family.
It has made this whole journey worthwhile. Wouldn't have done it without the city, without Minister Fedeli, and definitely not without the government of Ontario, who have been just so steadfast in their journey to support seniors.
So we're putting more investments into community paramedics, for example, is a great program. Try to keep people in their home, and that's where they want to stay. So keeping them in their home as long as possible, and try to keep that demand for actually being in the long-term care as low as we can.
Northern Heights employs 250 staff, which include registered nurses, personal support workers, and other assisted living staff members. Safe Ride Home Sudbury, students, officers, and donors met at its home base to announce this year's service dates. CTV's Madison Merrier has that story.
Safe Ride Home is a volunteer organization that has been operating in Sudbury for 27 years, providing safe transportation as a free alternative to driving under the influence.
It's about delivering our important message. Always plan ahead, never drive impaired.
Safe Ride Home Sudbury is just a phenomenal program that allows people to dial a number where great volunteers will come and get you and bring you and your car home safely. And of course, we as a police service support this because we don't want anybody on our roadways driving impaired.
This service allows a volunteer to drive the person and their car home, preventing impaired driving among holiday partygoers.
Like a lot of communities, impaired driving is an issue. So this is just another option for people to get home.
Unfortunately, we're still seeing roughly in 2024 and pushing close here in 2025 about 400 impaired charges locally in our jurisdiction. So again, some people still aren't getting the message of don't get behind the wheel if you're impaired.
Last year the organization had around 350 volunteers, and this year officials are hoping to get as many as possible to make the service more accessible.
These students are here each and every night of the campaign, and they set up our headquarters and maintain it, and they're just amazing and wonderful. We're so lucky to have their support.
Impaired driving is something that is very
very problematic in our community, and I'm very glad that the community came together to form an initiative.
Safe Ride Home Sudbury is operational year-round, but the driving service is active from November 28th to New Year's Eve. Madison Marier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Back now for a check on your current conditions. Once again, here's Rick.
Forecast radar right now. This is what we've got going on in northeastern Ontario, and that system is moving on out. So again, the rain and the snow moving out, and again, we'll get a bit of a break in some cases for tomorrow. Let's take a look at our current temperatures for this hour in Moosonee as we go way up. We've got some precipitation in the form of snow at -2. Cochrane, some snow. Timmins, 0 and snow. Kapuskasing, -4. That will end later on this evening. Chapleau, -3 with the snow. Wawa, of course, some sun and cloud. And Sault Ste. Marie, some sun and cloud. Parry Sound, some precipitation this hour at 9 degrees, a balmy 9, but that will change overnight as the temperature drops, and that's pretty well indicative of northeastern Ontario for this evening as things cool down. Meanwhile, North Bay, we've got precipitation at 4, 2 degrees Temiskaming Shores, and Kirkland Lake, mainly cloudy skies at 0. Greater Sudbury, 7. Espanola, 7. Elliott Lake, 5 degrees, all mainly cloudy. Gore Bay, 7 degrees, mainly cloudy skies. Our 7-day forecast, Tony, and the pick of the day coming up.
Thanks so much, Rick. They are merging next on CTV News at 6. The province wants to reduce the number of conservation authorities. And the Carney government survives another confidence vote on its budget. Conservation authorities manage local watersheds, and the province will soon introduce legislation to consolidate 36 conservation authorities into 7. We get northern reaction now from CTV's Alan Everson.
The general manager of Conservation Sudbury says news of consolidating conservation authorities in Ontario came as a bit of a surprise.
We're already very efficient, and the conservation authorities are being described as being fragmented, but I see it the other way around. We're localized, right? We're very much related to the communities that we serve.
In a news release, the Minister of the Environment says in part, conservation authorities play a vital role in protecting our communities and managing our watersheds. But the system has become too fragmented, inconsistent, and outdated. The new dedicated agency would work with conservation leaders to ensure faster, more transparent permitting and more frontline services. In a statement, the general manager of the Sault Ste. Marie Region Conservation Authority says, "We are awaiting more information, but in the meantime, we'll continue doing our important work to deliver on local programs and services that we have in place for our local watershed. We are ready and willing to work with the province and are encouraged with the opportunity to comment on the upcoming proposed changes." Conservation Sudbury says it looks forward to providing input on the proposed changes.
Some of the things that Minister McCarthy said, I'm very optimistic about. He's talking about bringing in new tools and new opportunities for expertise to be shared across the province. Looking forward to that.
In the coming weeks, the provincial government will hold public consultations on the watershed-based consolidation of conservation authorities, including the proposed regional boundaries. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
The Liberal government is still standing after facing yet another test on Parliament Hill today. Prime Minister Mark Carney's caucus survived a second confidence vote in as many days, just as Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre faced more questions over a second MP announcing plans to leave his party. CTV's Rachel Aiello has the latest from Ottawa.
MP Matt Genereux says he likely won't be leaving until the spring. But if the opposition are counting on the outgoing Albertans' vote, it's worth noting he didn't cast one in either last night's or today's confidence tests.
How many seats do you need to have a majority?
I can't remember.
Do you want to answer?
Need a couple. So call your local MP if they're not a Liberal and tell them to come out.
Prime Minister Mark Carney joking about gaining more MPs after Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre lost a second in as many days. Multiple sources say Matt Genereux was in talks with senior Liberal staffers about crossing the floor this week. But Conservative Party officials made it clear there would be consequences if he did. Genereux pushing back, posting a second statement, insisting there was no coercion involved in his decision to resign. The party now saying his announcement was expedited by Liberal pressure tactics.
The only rumors I've heard of intimidation and harassment are from Liberals badgering Conservatives in elevators and calling them at home.
The drama driving chatter among MPs ahead of a second confidence vote in the Commons today.
Matt's been a wonderful colleague, and I wish him all the best.
I think there's some soul-searching going on.
Monsieur McKinnon gets no.
The government survived the Bloc Québécois attempt to reject the budget. And now Liberals will spend the next week selling their spending plans before the key final vote on November 17th.
I sure hope that the opposition parties see how much is in that budget for their own regions.
The Liberals got one seat closer this week, with MP Chris D'Entremont crossing the floor, but are still a few votes shy of a majority government. And with the Conservatives and Bloc making their opposition to the budget clear, the focus will be on how the NDP vote or don't the week after next. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
What you see is what you get in terms of our forecast radar right now, with all kinds of snow in the Timmins area along that Highway 11 corridor right now, but it is leaving the area. Worst is over. The snowfall warning will end by about midnight this evening. So just a few centimeters of snow in that forecast and some better weather ahead. Of course, snow always starts a little bit earlier in some sectors of the northeast. Overnight, Greater Sudbury snow rain mix, a chance at 30%. Sault Ste. Marie, chance of sleet, a couple of centimeters of snow in Timmins. Temiskaming Shores, snow, rain in North Bay with the rain as well. So some sectors to the north get the rain. Depending on where you live, snow or rain in the northeast. Moosonee, of course, with some snow in the forecast. Let's move along now to our 7-day forecast. Sudbury Nickel Belt. Here we go with clearing in the forecast tomorrow. -2, some cloud cover Sunday, -4. Chance of flurries Monday at -3. Remembrance Day Tuesday at -1. Chance of showers on Wednesday at 30%, +1, +2 Thursday. So you have that variation in temperatures from the colder overnights to warmer overnights by about Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Meanwhile, in Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, overcast skies and 1 tomorrow. -1 Sunday, sun and cloud. Chance of flurries Monday, 0. 2 for Remembrance Day with the sleet at 30 to 40%. Wednesday, chance of sleet, and Thursday, cloud cover with a reading of +4 for the day. Timmins Cochrane Campus Casing, -4 cloud cover for tomorrow. Sunshine on Sunday, -5. Chance of flurries Monday, -4. Remembrance Day Tuesday at -2. Wednesday and Thursday, chance of flurries both days, expected highs around 0. Normally you should be sitting at around 1 or 2 degrees. So again, very close to that mark for this time of the year. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, chance of flurries for tomorrow, maybe the odd sunny break as well, -3. -6 on Sunday, some sun and cloud. Monday, chance of flurries at -3. Remembrance Day Tuesday, we've got some snow flurry activity with a high of -1. Flurries on Wednesday at 0, +1 on Thursday with the cloud cover. You're normal for this time of the year. Should be around 2-3 degrees, so you're getting pretty close to that. North Bay, West Nipissing, here we go. Chance of flurries at 0, -4 Sunday with the cloud cover. Monday, chance of flurries at 40%, -3. Tuesday, some sun and cloud. Remembrance Day, -1. And Wednesday, chance of flurries at 1 degree on Thursday with the cloud cover. Take a look at some of the evening temperatures here. That's pretty well standard across the northeast. Colder on Saturday and Sunday, then the gradual warm up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even into Thursday. Take a look. You go from -10 to -2 degrees, -1 thrown in for good measure. So again, some changing in the weather. Maybe we're not ready for that steady snowstorm, to say the least, right now, but you know it's coming, as we saw in Timmins last night and earlier today. Let's have a look now at our pick of the day. Norm is back at it once again. The chilly shores of Porcupine Lake with a shot taken recently. And again, Norm, I like that. You captured that scene very well. So again, Norm is a very avid photographer. He likes to submit his pics. Perhaps you can submit yours in time for Monday's show. Once again, we'll see what we can do. Just let us know where you're shooting from. Hey, stick around. Tony Ryma has more news coming up after the break.
Groundbreaking medical research was on display yesterday as Health Sciences North hosted its second Catalyst event. CTV's Madison Merrier has the details.
There were 17 posters on display connecting researchers, donors, community members, and more.
We are here today to connect with the people and the stories and the patients at the heart of research, behind the research, doing the research, asking the questions to make an impact for Northern Ontario.
The event focused on aging, cardiovascular health needs, cancers that are often found in Northern Ontario, and addressing access to medical care.
When you work in a field long enough and you interact with patients as well as with colleagues, you know that there's always room for improvement. You know that there are always gaps, and you also see things that work. You see how the landscape evolves as well.
In Southern Ontario, you have much more access to funding, and you have much more concentrated funding opportunities in comparison to the Northern Ontario. But with the resources that we have, we are able to invest those resources in a meaningful research that is built to improve the care and outcomes of patients living in Northern Ontario.
Sudbury is making change with its 50-50 draw that began in 2020, allowing one lucky winner to take home half the earnings every month, while the hospital utilizes the remaining to upgrade medical equipment and fund northern research projects.
When people think of Sudbury and northeastern Ontario, they're thinking about mines, they're thinking about that sort of thing, and they don't really realize just how big of a deal the medical research portion of things is here.
Every year, HSN 50-50 supports the HSN Foundation, which in turn funds 9 cancer research projects for Northern Ontario to the total of $300,000.
This yearly event allows community members to learn what medical advancements are happening in Northern Ontario and ways they can be involved and support the ongoing research happening across the north. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
A special event is being held in Scarborough tomorrow that aims to reach a group that has often lagged in cancer screening. Black women. CTV's Pauline Chan has more.
Shireen Spencer went for her first mammogram at age 45 when she discovered a lump in her breast.
I had just had surgery. I thought it was scar tissue, but the doctor, knowing my health issues, said, let's check this.
And now 8 years later and cancer-free, she urges women, especially black women in Scarborough, to educate themselves about breast cancer.
Tomorrow's event is not to scare people, but it's to say, let's start making a difference in our own health by the choices that we make.
Explore Her, an event organized by Scarborough Health Network, is a one-day free event to discuss things like hormones, reproductive wellness, and more. Joanne Fernandez explains their brand new breast imaging clinic has 3 top-of-the-line diagnostic machines.
The state-of-the-art technology of tomosynthesis really allows us to see better pictures and higher quality resolution. Imaging for the breast and specifically dense breasts, which we see quite a bit of here in Scarborough.
Studies have shown black women have a higher rate of dense breast tissue and often poorer outcomes than other racial groups.
We're not sure what causes, is it that they have more aggressive subtypes, or is it that they also present later? So the later you present, the more chances you have for it to have spread.
Dr. Mojala Omoli says that's why it's so important for women to attend the Empower Her event, especially those in the 40 to 50 age group, which is now included in Ontario's free screening program.
What's holding you back? Is it time? Is it convenience? Is it fear? Is it fear of, I had a fear of what are you going to find out?
She says culturally, talking about cancer has often been taboo in the Afro-Caribbean community, so making a special effort to reach that community is very important.
The event will be held here at the hospital at Lawrence and McCowan, and you can even go online to book your own breast screening. Go to shn.ca for more information. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
The cost of living crisis continues to take a toll. A new Nano survey for CTV found 22% of Canadians skipped at least one bill this year to buy groceries. CTV's Maria Saru is talking to shoppers in Charlottetown. Maria, what are you hearing?
The doors swish open at this Charlottetown store. Carts rattle out and islanders load groceries into their cars. But some say putting food on the table comes with trade-offs.
It's getting harder all the time.
I usually try to aim for as many sales as I can.
The more it's getting higher, it's affecting our daily bills.
My car insurance, the fuel, my phone bill, my rent, the groceries, and all that stuff.
New Nanos research for CTV News found 1 in 5 Canadians have skipped paying bills to buy groceries in the past year, and those under 55 were 4 times more likely to do so. Inflation and high housing costs are major factors contributing to the generational divide, says Chief Data Scientist Nick Nanos.
What's clear is that there's a significant proportion of Canadians that are facing those really tough choices. It's quite striking. I think in any other world, this would be considered an epidemic.
13% said they skipped bills sometimes or often, but a regional breakdown shows that number is highest in the Atlantic provinces at 24.2%. The data aligns with other research, says Joshua Smee with Food First NL.
All 4 provinces have upwards of 25% of people being food insecure. Our unemployment rate has generally been higher than the rest of the country. There are more people struggling economically.
He adds that means a higher number of people relying on social assistance or income supports. Shoppers here tell me what would really help is lower prices at grocery stores. But for now, many will keep making compromises. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Cakes, pies, cookies, and tarts. Hundreds made their way over to the Sudbury Food Bank last night for the not-for-profit's 24th annual Art of Dessert Gala. It's the launch of the annual Christmas card campaign, and bakers who have donated their items to the food bank. There were silent auctions, live auctions. The whole goal of the night was to make a meal for someone else.
Warehouse supplies all the food for all our 39 member agencies in the community to feed the people that are hungry. And it may not be big enough to supply all the guests that come to see it
Oh, I'm a hobby baker. I've been baking for 5 years out of Azilda, and this is my first competition. Some of the other participants that are entering, I know them personally, and I felt like I was confident enough to try. The reason I chose the cheeseburger is Sudburyans love a good cheeseburger.
Also announced last night, Sudbury City Councillor Natalie Labbé will become the new executive director after Dan Exelon steps down. Exelon will be retiring in December. He's been the executive director for 23 years. Last year's holiday Christmas card campaign generated more than $104,000 to feed the hungry. The Kids Caring for Kids Cancer Drive was another huge success this year in Sudbury. Students from Lockerbie Composite School canvassed the city last week to raise money for pediatric cancer care in the north. They raised more than $42,000 in just one night. The Cancer Drive has raised over $1.1 million since its inception and honors former student Laura Contesta, who died of cancer. Science North's traveling exhibition has completed a 3-year nationwide circuit teaching people about climate change. 200,000 people toured Our Climate Quest, Small Steps to Big Change. It's about everyday changes people can make to curb climate change. The exhibit has returned home to Sudbury's Dynamic Earth after traveling to 51 communities across the country.
In true Science North style, it is interactive, it's a lot of fun, and it's also the first time that we created a fully sustainable traveling exhibition. So even the materials that we use to create the exhibit will have another life once they're done as part of this exhibit.
And the exhibit will be at Dynamic Earth until November 14th and is included with regular admission. It's been around for more than 80 years, still ahead on CTV News at 6. Algoma Repertory Theatre in the Sioux is set to unveil arsenic and old lace. It's a play about murder, intrigue, and family dynamics. It's called Arsenic and Old Lace, and it's the latest offering from Algoma Repertory Theatre. It's going to hit the stage in Sault Ste. Marie November 19th until the 22nd. To tell us more, Mark Beaudet now joins us from the Sault. Hi there, Mark.
Hi, Tony.
Tell us about the Brewster family. What happens in this play?
Oh, all kinds of craziness goes on. One character after another, they get crazier and crazier. And the only two characters that seem sane are the two old spinsters, and they're hiding a deep, dark secret.
And I understand this play premiered on Broadway in 1941, so it really has legs.
Yeah, it's been around for a long, long time, and it still stands up. I really believe it's one of the first kind of misunderstanding comedies in the vein of Three's Company and shows like that.
How many people are in the cast, Mark?
There are 13.
13, and you're directing this. Any challenges for you? Because this is a dark comedy.
There has been some challenges, but the cast has met those. The biggest challenge is the pacing. It really has to move along, and I'm so impressed with the veterans I have and the newcomers to the stage. They've been like a professional company.
You mentioned about pacing, so it's a challenge for an actor, you know, because the timing has to be bang on, especially for a dark comedy like this.
Yes, the laughs come one after the other, and if there's any lag, you run the risk of losing your audience. Yeah, we're on a good pace. Can
you teach that? You know, comedic timing, or do you have to just kind of develop that over the years as an actor?
Well, I think what I've been doing is I've been using examples that the cast would see in modern day television or movies, and equating that to the older text.
Okay, Mark, thanks so much for your time, and break a leg.
Thanks, Tony.
Mark Beaudet of Algoma Repertory Theatre was our guest, and to learn more about the new offering by the troupe, head to artinssm.com.
Hockey This Week is brought to you by Rastall Nut and Bolt Company.
Welcome back to another edition of Hockey This Week. This week we take you to Powassan, where the NOJHL Voodoos are celebrating their unique connection to the military ahead of Remembrance Day. Starting goalie Derek Champagne always feels a rush when he straps on his pads. Being a Powassan Voodoo means everything to him.
I love the team here. I love the coaches. To me personally, it's just amazing.
And it's extra special when he sees the logo of the soaring jet. His father, Rick, a 40-year veteran of the Royal Canadian Air Force, was an air traffic controller and aerospace controller. He directed McDonnell's CF-101 Voodoo jets while in the air.
I was in Comox, BC on Vancouver Island. We had jets, we had search and rescue, we had fisheries patrols, and they had the Voodoos. And they were by far the most exciting aircraft.
Champagne even flew in a Voodoo a few times in the mid-'80s. It's the first time since the team joined the NOJHL in 2014 that it's had any kind of personal connection to its name and logo.
The opportunity with the Voodoos came up, and I got excited. I thought this would be absolutely perfect. The first thing I said to Derek is I said, I flew in one of those. And he said, really?
He actually told me the story when I first came out here because he thought it, kind of correlated to the history here.
When the team first formed, the previous owners wanted to tie them to the region's rich military history and keep the connection with the North Bay Battalion. Thus, the Voodoos were born.
Used to fly out of here in training missions, so there's a beautiful plane right propped up right at the top of the hill in front of the Jack Garland Airport.
The Voodoos are off to a flying start this season, as Champagne has helped pilot them to 4th place in the standings, recently picking up his first shutout of the year.
He's done a great job so far and come up with some big wins.
And Champagne is hoping to continue to fly high after such a fast start to the season.
The coaches just make it so fun to be out here.
Stay tuned for another edition of Hockey This Week next week, when Rick Wyman will feature the upcoming Silver Stick Tournament. For Hockey This Week, Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
Thanks for that, Eric. And there were 5 games scheduled in the NOJHL this Friday night. The Timmins Rockhurst Lumberjacks game scheduled for this evening has been postponed because of the weather. So the Sioux Thunderbirds are hosting the Blind River Beavers. The Powassan Voodoos are taking on the last place French River Rapids. The Kirkland Lake Gold Miners will be in Michigan tonight to play the Sioux Eagles. And the Greater Sudbury Cubs are in Espanola tonight to face off against the Paper Kings. These two are tied for points in the standings. That game is at 7:30 p.m. The rest of the games are 7 o'clock starts. In the OHL, and a tough Thursday night for the Wolves, who started out strong against their Central Division rival, Barrie Colts.
Skated into the Wolves player, and now it's going to be another penalty as Hovan, he's tripped up. Here's Martin at the point. Back to the blue line. Lads fires, scores!
That goal in the early few minutes of the second from Liam Lads would give Sudbury a 2-1 lead, but it wouldn't take long for Barrie to respond. The Colts would follow that up with 5 unanswered goals. And the Barrie Colts would go on to beat the Sudbury Wolves 6-2 tonight. The Wolves will have home ice advantage in the rematch. They host the Barrie Colts at the Sudbury Community Arena at 7:05. The Sioux Greyhounds are home to the Guelph Storm tonight at GFL Memorial Gardens at 7:07. And the Flint Firebirds land in the Gateway City tonight to take on the North Bay Battalion at 7 sharp. The Big Nickel Hockey Tournament is back this weekend in Sudbury. This tournament has been running for 45 years, and this year there are 34 U18 teams from Ottawa to London. Tournament organizers have also been hard at work raising money for local charities.
We got rid of the gate fees, which is immense rate, so we can keep our registration down. So the money that we raise through sponsorship goes to feeding the volunteers. We make donations to the hospice, to cancer care, to Sudbury Minor, to Coppercliff Minor Hockey. It all goes back into the community in Sudbury.
And the tournament kicked off yesterday with games running all weekend at McClelland Arena in Coppercliff, Tom Davies Arena in Lively, and the Countryside Arena. That's also where the finals will be Sunday at 1:30 p.m. We're nearing the end of 2025, but the entertainment report feels more like 1985. David Daniel donned his denim jacket, acid-wash jeans, and Ray-Bans for this blast from the past Hollywood report.
This is your story. Honor your past and embrace the future. That's what people want.
The first teaser trailer is out for the Michael Jackson biopic, Michael. Jafar Jackson, Michael's nephew, makes his feature debut as the King of Pop. The highly anticipated movie is due in theaters April 24th.
What are these things?
Gremlins. More 80s nostalgia. Warner Brothers is bringing back Gremlins. The studio has announced it's releasing an as-yet untitled Gremlins movie on November 19th, 2027. Chris Columbus, who wrote the original 1984 film, takes the director's chair and will also help write the script. No word yet on the cast or plot.
So our story takes place between seasons 2 and 3. But we soon learned that nothing is quite as they thought it was.
And Netflix has released the first look at Stranger Things, Tales from '85. The animated series based on the streamer's smash hit live-action show, which wraps up this winter, is due out sometime next year. Heading from Hollywood to Hawkins, I'm David Daniel.
Canada's economy added 67,000 jobs last month, which surprised economists. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more on this.
It now sits at 6.9%. The gain of 67,000 jobs follows September's gain of 60,000 positions. Part-time jobs drove growth in October. Ontario gained 55,000 jobs last month, Quebec over 11,000. Employment was down in Nova Scotia and Manitoba. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 71.27. West Texas Intermediate crude is up to 59.75. Western Canadian Select down a bit to 47.80. And the TSX started the day deep in the red, then squeaked to a gain of 43 points by the end of the day. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold up $24.19. Closing the day at $4,001.28 U.S. an ounce. Silver up 27 cents to end the day at $48.30. Copper up 3 cents. And nickel down 3 cents, ending the day at $6.73 U.S. a pound. And I have the pleasure of presenting your forecast for Saturday. Let's take a look, starting with Sudbury. Well, clearing skies. On the cool side, though, -2, -4, and overcast conditions in through Timmins. For Sault Ste. Marie, 1 degree and cloudy skies. As we head on over to North Bay, right at the freezing mark, there's a 30% chance of snow flurry activity. In through Parry Sound, mostly cloudy. You will see some sunny breaks coming in at 2 and -3, and flurry activity for Temiskaming Shores. And finally, Remembrance Day is next Tuesday. So in honor of our veterans and those who continue to serve, we leave you with this song. It's from Terry Kelly and A Pittance of Time. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.
They fought and some died for their homeland. They fought and some died, now it's our land. Look at his little child, there's no fear in her eyes. Could he not show respect for other dads who have died? Take 2 minutes, would you mind? It's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls who went over. In peace may they rest, may we never forget why they died. It's a pittance of time. God forgive me for wanting to strike him. Give me strength so as not to be like him. My heart pounds in my breast, fingers pressed to my lips. My throat wants to bawl out, my tongue barely resists. But 2 minutes I will bide. It's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls who went over.